Hi, Mike here. You're watching Scout Restoration Yukon. In this video, I will install the steering knuckles and adjust the drag. Then I will install the knuckle seals, the spindles and backing plates. This is not a how-to video. It's a how I do video. I hope you like it. Let's get to work. If you want to help, please subscribe to Scout Restoration Yukon. It's free. Mike Morrow, over and out. Hi, you're watching Yukon Scout Restoration. This video is a continuation of the Dana 30 front axle assembly. Today, we're going to install the steering knuckles. Let's get to work. Note that the U-joints on the axles for the Dana 30 don't have seals on them. That's because they live inside a closed knuckle which is filled with lubricant. However, when I blasted it out with Varsol, I blew out all the old lubricant. So now what I'm going to do, I've got some gear oil in a squirt can, and one by one I'm going to fill each cup with gear oil. So I'm simply filling each cup with gear oil. I'll do the same on the other side. I previously determined that these spindle bushings are in good condition, but let's just double check. First, I can simply slide it on the axle, dry, hold it in place, and try to move it, try to wiggle it to find any play, and I don't feel any real play in there. Another way I can check it is simply put the vernier on the axle and lock it. Try the vernier inside the bushing, and it's a tight fit. So it's almost like these bushings have been replaced. They look like almost new. I don't see any wear. So they're good to go. This is my new bearing. Pack both bearings with grease by hand, squishing it till the grease comes through the other side. And then I put the excess grease on the axle. This is the right-hand steering knuckle. It even has an R in the casting. This is the bottom kingpin. Here. I've already installed it. I put thread sealer on the bolt threads and in between the knuckle and the kingpin to keep the oil in and the water out. And the bottom takes roller bearings, which I've packed in grease. So they just go like that. This is the upper right hand steering knuckle bearing race. And this is the upper right hand bushing, which is splined. It just goes in here like that. Fits pretty good. Doesn't wobble or tilt, so it's making contact evenly. Originally, the first Scouts had roller bearings top and bottom, but they had a problem, the front wheels shimmying. And especially if people put wider tires and things like that, modifications, they'd get this shimmy. So they adopted this bronze. It's actually this bronze bushing, right? And here's the kingpin. You can see that the kingpin is splined. And I'm just going to put in the original shims. But if it's not tight enough, if the drag's not enough, I can adjust the drag by adding or removing shims. So that's the idea. So let's do it. This bushing can stay here. Here's the steering knuckle. You simply just have to put it in, push the bearing up into the cup from below, Here's the shims that were originally in there. The shims come in 5 thou, 10 thou, and 20 thou thicknesses. So I like to put the thicker one on last. I will torque the kingpin to 25 to 40 foot-pounds, and then I will check the steering knuckle drag with an older dial-style torque wrench. So I'll hold up, seat the bearing, the lower bearing, and just gently run these bolts in, like so. Now I'll torque them to 35 foot-pounds. And I can feel right now I don't have enough drag. But I'll check it. Starting torque should be 13 to 26 foot-pounds. Probably only 1 or 2 foot-pounds. So now I need to remove a shim. The thinnest ones here are 5 thou, and then there's 2 10 thou, and a 20. So I'm taking out 10 thousandths of an inch. So I just have to put that back in again. Run them in. Already it's tighter, and I haven't even torqued it yet. So, torquing to 35 foot-pounds. Check the drag again. So remember, the starting torque, 13 to 26 foot-pounds. Probably 15. You can see the whole thing. Now, watch the knuckle. And there, 15. Starts to move. 15 starts to move. That's all there is to it. I've already torqued the bottom. I'll just work this a few times and check that again. It's 15. Again, it's 15. It's the same. I feel that I don't need to have any more drag than that because this axle also has a steering damper. I don't know if it was a factory add-on or a dealer add-on or a aftermarket add-on or what, but it has a steering damper, a shock absorber on the drag link. Shock absorber goes from the drag link to this bracket. So I did the same job on the left-hand side. You can see the L in the casting. I'm just going to work it a bit. Here's the starting torque. That's plenty of drag combined with the steering damper. I will now install the steering knuckle oil seals. Here. These are the original parts for the steering knuckle oil seals. These are the retainer plates. This is the outer felt seal. This is the seal with the metal ring. I can't find the inner ring in any parts books or manuals. I think I will call it the backup ring. So the new parts came in a kit like this. One for each side, of course. So here's the contents of the kit. So it's got new bolts, a new felt, which I must cut, and the seal. And it didn't come with this inner ring. In order to install it, I have to cut the felt at the top, like so. So the first thing I have to do is lubricate the ball. So I'm lubricating the ball with synthetic grease. If you don't lubricate the ball, it'll be very difficult to turn in a knuckle. And it's important when you're using your Scout, if you go in the water or the mud or something, to clean these balls off and keep them lubricated. And the reason I use synthetic grease for everything on this axle is I live in an extremely cold climate, and if you use regular grease when it's 20 or 30 below zero, it's like cement. And nothing works, nothing moves, and you break things. There's a machine groove in the back of the knuckle. This first steel ring goes like this. I have to get it straight. This first steel ring goes into this groove with the gap at the top, right? And then we have to get it in nicely. Yeah, now there. I think the trick is keep your finger on this gap. Snap that into place. So the seal comes next. The seal, I just twist it up like that, straighten it, push it in from the bottom. So I've got it started. So what I've done is I've started 2 bolts, the bottom of the retainer through the felt. Just gently running in these 2 bottom bolts. You can see that the seal is started. There. Now, you can see the seal going in nicely. Right there. Just get the other side. Same. Start some bolts in the top. The torque spec for these bolts is 10 to 25 foot-pounds. I think 10 is plenty. So that's done. Next, I will install the spindle. Put the gasket maker on both sides and leave it to tack up. I will now install the spindle to the knuckle. Put the groove up. I put a good amount of grease inside the bushing. I will now install the backing plate.
Note that the adjuster slot is toward the front of the axle when I'm on the driver's side, left-hand side of the axle. It goes like this with the slot to the front. On the other side, the slot will be to the rear. I put thread sealer on these bolts because they go into the closed knuckle and there's the potential of oil leaking out. So just run these bolts in and torque them to 30 foot-pounds. Oh, I just noticed that this lock washer has a chunk out of it. I need to get a new lock washer here. So just go get a new lock washer. When I was cleaning up these backing plates, I noticed that the other backing plate on the other side was wrong. Someone had put a wrong part on this axle, so I had to find another backing plate, the correct one, and clean it up and paint it like this one. So there we have it, 30 foot-pounds all the way around. Spindle bolt, final torque, 40 foot-pounds. Spindle bolts, passenger side, 40 foot-pounds.
In conclusion, the steering knuckles went together very well. Everything is tight and smooth, and the drag is correct. In my next video, I will install the bearings in the wheel hubs and the hubs onto the spindles, and then the locking hubs. I hope you like it. If you want to help, please subscribe to Scout Restoration Yukon. It's free. Mike Morrow, over and out.